Okay. To avoid discrimination, quote unquote, all else being equal, you hire the minority. We have a word for people like that. We call them Maisie Lorons. It rhymes with Maisie Lawrence, I should say. And that's a tribute to Scott Adams, for those of you who like Dilbert. The point is, there is no such thing as all else being equal. You really have to look at the specific qualities of the people that you're looking to hire and hire the person who is most qualified for the job that you're seeking to fill. Now, how do you do that? And I'll share with you. I just wanted to give you, before I give you the suggestion of how you do that, we have one of the biggest cases in the country was here in New Jersey and involved the Board of Education in Piscataway, where they actually had an affirmative action plan that said, with two otherwise qualified, equally qualified candidates, we're going to go with the minority in order to serve the purposes of our affirmative action plan. And in the particular facts of the circumstances to which they applied that decision, they hired the less qualified person. And they really had done a very, very poor job of assessing who else, really are these people otherwise equal in their ability to work for the company. So I have an acronym. It's called C the Candidate. So if you remember nothing else today, remember C the Candidate. Skills, education, and experience. And those are the three things that you should always focus on when you are looking to hire employees. And you'll find that it really does help you assess the best qualified and identify the best qualified person for your job. Skills, what has this person done before? What does my job need in order to be successful? What does the person need to fulfill the requirements of the job description that I have? Education, is education even required for this particular job or not? And experience, where has this person worked before? What have they done? What situations have they been in? I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a sales force and you want to break into the Latino community. A lot of people will go out there and say, well, I'm going to hire a Latino because obviously that's going to be the best qualified person to make sales in the Latino community. Not necessarily. Okay. And just to use a personal example, my father, who is a redhead when he was younger and more pale than I am, worked in South America for 8 years. And he's very, very comfortable speaking Spanish. And they used to call him el gringo nativo, because over the telephone, you could not even tell that he was not a native South American or native Latino. He had his skills are that good or were that good during the time, and he was very good at his job, but obviously did not fit that profile of somebody who would work in South America. So the fact of the matter is, you're not necessarily going to find the best qualified person by making the assumption of, gee, I need to hire a Latino to sell to the Latino community. But if you say, listen, I want the skills of a good salesperson, I want somebody who has the education necessary to be a good salesperson, and somebody who is experienced in selling to that community, you're going to find the best person for that job. So your skills would be somebody who's bilingual or who can speak Spanish, and your education, again, depending on what your job is. Have they done it before? Haven't they? Do they have the right sales education? And do they have the experience? You may very well end up with hiring a Latino who ends up being the most qualified person for the job, but that's not how you approached it. You approached it from objective factors and looking for and you did not rely on protected characteristics or people's appearances and what a stereotypical belief of who the best person to fill the job is. Another example of a story, Abercrombie and Fitch. Everybody familiar with that company? Who is their primary sales target? Young people, skinny people, what other kind of people? Male or female? Mostly male.
Questionable.
This is the allegations of the lawsuit, okay? The allegations were their primary target was young white males, okay? So the hiring practices of the company, and this is the allegations of the lawsuit, were that all of the young white males who applied for the retail positions were placed in the customer-facing sales jobs. Other people were hired and put it to work, but they were put in back office jobs. And so the allegation was you are discriminating in favor of young white males. Now their defense was that that's our target market. So we want a young white male to come in to see somebody that he can relate to and how good he could look in that outfit. So that's how we want to use our employees, but that is not acceptable. Okay? and I'll get to your question in just one second, David. So it ended up costing that company $50 million in a race discrimination settlement. Question?
Yeah, first of all, this is just fantastic information. Thank you very much. And it's extremely valuable, so I appreciate your time. Lululemon CEO was recently fired for remarks about the pants. Is anyone, guys, I don't know what the exact...
Okay, I wasn't familiar with that.
Can someone talk, maybe you can talk a little bit more specifically what he said?
Some body types aren't fit for it.
Right, some body types.
He basically said not all body types should be wearing Lululemon. In other words, it's not meant for overweight women to squeeze into the pants. Therefore, the issues that a couple of years ago about being able to see through them, and then they made the women bend over to see if the pants fit.
Okay.
So that was.
So I can see that was just to be a public relations nightmare. I mean, I don't know if in and of itself would that be a discriminatory statement. Not so sure, but it's enough to offend people. And enough to get you in trouble for it. And you certainly don't want to hear that from your CEO. Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, I have another question. Now, so therefore, based on that, I should be able to sue the NBA, the National Basketball Association, because they don't have short people, right?
Oh, okay. All right.
Right?
There is an exception. Skills. Yeah, you have no skills. That's right. There's an exception. There's an You're right. That was a stereotypical remark.
Have you seen him shoot?
But you could try out.
Muxie Bowls was the perfect example.
They didn't. They were sued. They were sued.